Hello, teacher friends. It is so wonderful to finally be back with you. I am Nina Rodriguez, and you are watching the Misfit to Teach channel. Welcome back, everybody. This is the Misfit to Teach channel, where I talk about all things teaching and how to stay mentally, physically, and emotionally fit to teach. If I haven't already met you, or if you are not subscribed to our wonderful community that is growing, please hit the subscribe button below, as well as all the notifications, so that you and I can come together every week. All right, so first things first, I want to apologize for the new chair that I have in the new high school that I'm in. It's a little bit squeaky, so I'm actually just going to do my best to stay really still. But I took a little bit of a hiatus for the rest of the summer leading into the first 9 weeks of the school year, because we had a memorial for my grandfather who had passed, and being in a new school, I really needed some time to get my feet up under me. So apologies for being a little bit wayward, but I'm really glad to see you at this point, and I'm hoping that your school year is off to a great start. So today I wanted to talk about some differences between teaching high school and teaching middle school. Now, I want to preface that by saying, obviously everybody's situation is going to be different. I don't pretend to know what all districts across the United States are going through. And of course, some things that I'll say pertaining to middle school obviously will apply to high school and vice versa. But I did want to discuss just some differences that I'm noticing if you yourself are feeling like you might be wanting to make some kind of leap. For one thing, and definitely I think what I miss about teaching in middle school is that teaching is more playful. When it comes to teaching middle schoolers, you want to think about, as far as engaging your students, how to weave play into your lessons. At that age, they're still at an age where play is a necessary outlet to character building, to learning teamwork, and also to their academics. In middle school, it was not unusual for me to take out mega blocks and have them building things in order to hone in, or in order to drive home a lesson. We did a lot of the game subscriptions that our division subscribes to, Gimkit, Kahoot, etc. And if all else failed, we also frequently tossed a ball, which I talk about in this video, where we would play silent speedball at the end of most days as a brain break. They needed that time to play in order to decompress from our lesson. And I find that in high school, that's just not the case. Brain break is still necessary. They have to have that downtime. But in this setting, if you're looking towards getting into high school, that downtime needs to be very personal. It's really just an opportunity for them to put their head down if that's what they want to do. It's an opportunity for them to check their phones. That's a huge thing in high school. And it's really just for them to sort of enjoy their own quiet, or maybe talk with a friend sitting beside them. So if you're looking at middle school, then I think a question you should ask yourself is, do you want your teaching to be more like play centered, or do you want it to be more structured, like curriculum, lesson, and lecture centered? Another thing that I find in middle school, more so than being here in high school, and again, this is my experience, I could be totally contradicting what you've seen out of high school students, but I find that in middle school, I was playing more of like behavioral whack-a-mole. So I mean, of course, biochemically where they are is that middle schoolers are very social creatures at that age. Puberty is really just starting. They haven't fully developed those coping mechanisms for dealing with challenging situations. So oftentimes, like, I had to be really high energy because I was bouncing like around my classroom getting one under control, making sure another was under control, redirecting another one, making sure one wasn't swinging from the rafters. And that can take a lot of emotional labor, not to mention physical labor, because you literally are wandering around the room trying to make sure they're not killing themselves. And in high school so far, I'm finding that it's more slightly more relaxed. The behavior management in this setting tends to be overcoming apathy, overcoming like it just sometimes like an unwillingness to do the work or to just do anything at all. In high school, the behavior is more like, well, I'm not going to do anything today because I don't feel like it, and we can just revisit this another day. But I'm not so much having to deal with like the huge outbursts or like the loud social hour that I was having to sort of often compete with in middle school. It's not to say that I had a problem with it. I stayed for 7 years. They're very social at the middle school level. So it was really more towards how can I reach those kids without becoming like an ogre of a teacher, and allowing them to be themselves, but still being reasonable and bringing their attention back to the important things. You got to have a real solid structure in middle school. They have to know when it's time to work and then when it's time to play. And in my opinion, you have to have that brain break, that play time for them in middle school, or else you're gonna lose them. And in high school, the relationship building is different as well. And that's probably been the biggest shift for me. In middle school, my kiddos wanted to tell me everything. They wanted to hang out in my classroom before school, or sometimes after school. They wanted to come stop in during transitions. They want to open up to you a bit more at that age, as younger kids tend to do. In high school, it's harder. It's been a little bit more challenging to build that relationship, and it's come just like with being consistently just a consistent presence in the school, and affording them time to slowly talk about things that interest them. Not to mention also having to like invest my time in some of their extracurriculars so that they could see me outside of the classroom, like chaperoning the homecoming dance, staying a few minutes after school to see what clubs they're going to, so on and so forth. We're getting into the winter time now, so obviously I'll be at the basketball games, and all of those things. I find that that's how I'm able to sort of whittle away at their natural defenses and their natural guard, to just get to know them better and to let them know that I'm here for them. So those have been some key differences that I've experienced so far with being in high school. I absolutely do not regret my decision to transfer. It's been great being in this setting. I love watching just like the development of our students over time from 6th, 7th, and 8th on into 9th and 10th, and eventually 11th and 12th. That's all been really eye-opening. But if you have anything to share as far as what your experience is in middle school or what your experience is in high school, leave a comment below, because that'll definitely help some of our new and aspiring teachers. And also, as I mentioned in the previous video, I am currently conducting interviews with teachers nationwide to get a sense of common teacher issues, what your thoughts are on the current state of education, what you aspire towards in your career and also your personal life outside of teaching. I think getting a sense of these answers and keeping a pulse on the teacher perspective is going to be very, very useful. And if you are interested in participating in that research, I would love to hear from you, and I'll speak with you more on that. If you want to send me an email, my contact information is below. But thank you so much for watching. Again, be sure to hit the subscribe button, join our community, and I look forward to seeing you again very, very soon. I promise. Do all you can to stay fit to teach. Be well.